How long have you been at it with WXPJ? You're older than we are because you had fewer problems getting on the air.
Yeah, it's about a little over 3 years now, I think.
3 years?
Yeah.
All right. So, and your format is somewhat similar to ours.
Similar, yeah.
You 60s, 70s, 80s?
Yep.
All right. And then you do more live remotes from different businesses. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
So how does that go? You share a producer with us, don't you?
Yes, I do.
right.
Chris produces a lot of the remotes.
All right. And then we have another person who's wandering around in the hallway. He's actually known on another station as The Count. And maybe The Count will greet us with a Halloween wish a little bit later. We're just going to put him on the spot, and we do that. But here we are again, the Open Mic Show. I'm Tim Coco, guest in the studio, Jay McDonough. And coming up after the news at the top of the hour, we're going to have EJ Ouellette, Haverhill native, and stand-up bass player Shane Pender coming on the program to talk about this new CD by EJ Ouellette, Conjure Man, Conjure Man. All right. I keep hearing other phones ringing, though, so I'm wondering what our phone problem is. Is that on my line or on your line? It's on yours. Okay. All right. If you want to listen, you can put on the headphones. You are on the Open Mic Show. You are on the Open Mic Show. Chris, is the phone potted up on your end?
It's not on my end. It's on your end.
I have no light on, so there's no phone call here.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry, caller. It seems like that's why there's a phone ringing in the background. I hate to be announcing all this on the air, but when you have a double ring like that, it usually means someone is sitting on hold. All right. So hit the flash button, get the caller back, send him over here. Jerry, if you wouldn't mind bearing with us, hold on. We'll try to get you on the air in just a minute. All right. Meanwhile, Jay, what does XBJ stand for, or can you say?
Nothing.
It means nothing?
We get I can't tell you how many people have asked me that. It was just the letters that were assigned to us. We didn't ask for them or anything like that.
Oh, they really stand out, though.
Yes, they do.
They do stand out.
The strangest part is that call letters are used by other stations, especially when stations close or they move or whatever. These call letters were never used by anyone else ever before.
Never been used. Well, I guess X probably meant to a lot of broadcasters that experimental, but you're not
Right.
experimental.
We're not, no.
Unless Chris is running the board. All right. So I think we now have that caller. You
Good
are on
evening,
the Open
Tim.
Mic
How
Show.
are you?
All right. I guess we finally got you on the line here. All right. How are you, Jerry?
Oh, I'm fine. I've missed the program quite a lot, and the reason is that one particular night it wasn't even on, on the computer. It wasn't on, and it wasn't on, the regular community TV. And then we had a couple of. Did we have a couple of holidays?
Yes, we had a rerun last week, which was timely because it was the night before our special election here in Haverhill, so it worked out
see.
okay.
And then I guess there was a number. You had some guests, and I couldn't contribute to any of the.
Yeah, well, we've had a busy few weeks. Maybe you watched when we had.
Yes.
Yes, we had Police Chief Alan De Niro and Deputy Chief Hawk were on the program, and then we had the two candidates, Democratic candidates for state rep. So we had a pretty full night. So if you couldn't get through,
I know it was a very full night.
Now in Methuen, where you are, you're having an election too. You have.
Unopposed for mayor.
Jim Jujuga, unopposed for mayor, well known in Haverhill as the former state senator, the former head of the Greater Haverhill Chamber of Commerce, the former head of public safety at the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Yes.
And we have the election for councilors in the at-large and in the east.
Yeah, and you've had a few who have been term limited out. Is that right?
Yes.
Hey, let me ask you this: how do you feel about term limits in Methuen? Because you had some good folks who.
Because I think it's important because the ones that are getting in there for too long, they ingrained in the in the process, and almost seems like it's their job for life. I think it's important to have new young blood, every so often, and So I'm not against term limits.
All right. So you like the idea that
I like the idea, yes.
because we've had some counselors in Haverhill for many years. Although I have to say, I think Haverhill's been served well by the experience.
Oh, yes, yeah, Haverhill has been served well, including the mayor also. And tonight, I just wanted to congratulate Haverhill.
Oh, you're congratulating Haverhill for what?
Well, they got a big prize. They got $24,000. More or less, it's a grant or actually a prize for good work.
What, recycling?
In the recycling.
Yeah, $35,000. You're right.
35,000. That's, you can do an awful lot with that. And they're way up there. You know, they're way up there in the recycling. You know, they've been doing well, and they profited by it, and they're to be congratulated. You know.
No, they're matter of fact.
No, I'm sorry to say that Methuen is one of the worst in the whole Commonwealth as far as recycling.
No, really? Now, why is that? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's you have to have a balanced program, which would start really in the grammar schools. You know, and the grammar school kids come home and they tell their parents and things like that.
Oh, so you think sending something home with the school children would help?
Exactly. I recycle. We recycle all the time. And I see materials out there to be recycling, but I don't think. We're not doing what we should be doing, really, as far as recycling.
Now, does Methuen have the 64-gallon containers on wheels like Haverhill does?
Yeah.
I think that's helped Haverhill's recycling rate, whether people like the way they were forced to or not, because they won't be picked up if they exceed
and I think
that.
they've addressed the issues with the. I think they had somewhat addressed the issues with the elderly. And the pushing the carts and things like that. So,
I think there were certainly a lot of objections to that in Haverhill. The fact that these Haverhill has offered, people who need the help. Maybe they have a steep driveway or something. The smaller containers on wheels.
Yes, that's true. That's exactly true. Yeah.
So, but I think what has happened is a lot of people realize that they cannot get their trash picked up if they exceed the 64 gallons. So then they recycle more. So maybe it was a strategy that actually worked.
That is, you know what, you hit it right on the head. That's exactly the reason why.
I have to tell you, I fear, maybe I shouldn't say this on the air,
You're going to be their next consultant.
Oh, I don't know, but I fear, though, that some people are probably putting things into recycling that they shouldn't put in.
Maybe.
Because they doesn't fit in the regular, so, well, maybe they can recycle that. And then
what you can do, though, also is with paper cups and things like that, you can shred them before you put them in the barrel, because what happens with paper cups, it may not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but actually you create void spaces in your barrel, and basically what I do is I take my plastic, I take the paper cups and things like that, and I put them one inside the other until I get to maybe 40, 50, and then what I do is then fill it with whatever other materials that I have to throw out. So by reducing the void space, you can get more in.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, I don't know if I noticed that people have been putting things into recycling and they don't understand this, that you can contaminate a batch of recycling by having greasy paper in there, for example. But I don't know, and this is probably why recycling, and you were in the business, I mean, you work for DEP.
Yeah, that's right. And actually you have, in your area, you have what's called a recycling coordinator who goes for free. She is paid by the Commonwealth, the Department of Environmental Protection. I hope that continues, but because there has been some cuts in their budget, DEP's cut.
Well, I will say that I think it was former Haverhill City Councilor Dave Hall. I don't remember exactly the term he used, and maybe it wasn't polite enough to use on air, but he thought that some people were being bullied into things, that if they didn't, we had one person on Facebook, for example, said that, she knows her garbage isn't picked up till maybe 10 o'clock in the morning. You can't pick everyone up at 7 or 8. So she knows.
True.
So she doesn't wheel it out of her garage until closer to the time they come.
Yeah.
And
there was another good proposal, too. They wanted to construct a anaerobic digester in Haverhill, someplace in Haverhill. Well, I know exactly where it was because it was defeated. It was on the borderline of Pelham and Haverhill. And, it was a great idea, really. It is a great idea because we got one way out in western Massachusetts and working wonderful. But it's in a farm area, and they use waste farm materials, manure, etc. And then they also collect garbage from the from restaurants and institutions like that, and it works very good. The problem with where they were siting it was right in the middle of an industrial park, which was bordered by homes, and it was not a good place for the site. So it failed. Really, it failed. All
right, I'm afraid we have to take a break, Jerry, though. But I'd like to continue this maybe a little bit later. Would that be okay?
Sure. Because I had another idea that I wanted to talk about. Just talk a little about.
All right, maybe.
Okay. And actually, this the person, the recycling coordinator, actually puts on PowerPoint presentations in the schools, etc., and in Haverhill, and indoctrines the children. Hey. The children are the ones, really. They transmit the message home to the parents, right?
All right, Jerry, I'm sorry, but we do have to take a break, but if you can call back. All right, Jerry, thank you very much for calling. Right now, we're trying to deal with some issues with getting our signal to the television. During the break, I'll take care of that. Chris, why don't we take it away? We'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show. We'll try to spend some more time with Jay McDonough in just 1 minute.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
97.9 FM, WHAV.
Catch the wave!
Melinda's Garden Moments help gardeners create and maintain a healthy, beautiful garden with ease, inside or out and all year long. This is Melinda Myers, inviting you to tune in every weekday morning, right here on WHAV. You'll learn creative ways to grow your own vegetables and herbs while beautifying your landscape. Eco-friendly lawn care, flower garden design basics, unique container gardens, attracting birds and butterflies to the landscape, and much more. Again, please join me weekday mornings for Melinda's Garden Moment for a very environmentally friendly approach to gardening. Remember, only local radio can bring you this feature opportunity, but only WHAV does.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin B. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
And we're back here on the Open Mic Show. Our producer, Chris, is going to be checking in with our server provider on the video. There seems to be some kind of technical problem, and hopefully we'll deal with that before the end of the program. But, of course, there's radio, 97.9 FM, WHAV. All right, we're sitting here now with Jay McDonough. And Jay operates WXBJ in Salisbury, same class of station as WHAV. Been at it a little bit longer. Some of the things I wanted to ask you about are, the public service. Is Salisbury a different? Is it more seasonal? Do you find much more activity, or is it pretty consistent?
Well, it's much more seasonal. It's in the summertime you've got thousands and thousands of people listening, where in the wintertime you only maybe a few thousand.
All right. So, but now, I don't know if I should say this on the air, but there was a local station in Newburyport. It's been sold. It's running syndicated network programming. Have you found that has meant more people returning to WXBJ because it's more local? Not the financial reports from New York City, for example.
Yeah, it appears that way. We seem to be getting a lot more phone calls, especially during the day. We never got them before. So there's a lot more, seems to be a lot more interest. So I think we're picking up a lot of people that were listening to them.
All right, now WXBJ is partnering with WHAV to bring Dave Mack's Rock and Roll Oldies Party. Is that
That's
what
correct,
it's called? Yeah. And Saturday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. It's heard on both stations. What's your frequency? 94.1?
94.1, yeah.
All right, WXBJ 94.1, WHAV 97.9. Between the two of us, we reach quite a big distance.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
You've got the Seacoast, you've got the Merrimack Valley, and how is that working out for you?
So far, it's working out pretty good.
Maybe there's room for more sharing of things.
Yes. Well, I have to give a lot of credit to Mike Hemian. He's our chief engineer.
And Mike's in the building.
Yeah, he's in the building. And he's the one that actually put the station together. He worked for NBC Network for 20 years and then retired. And then I convinced him to come up here and put a radio station on the air. So
And Mike's actually putting another one on, too, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Maybe we'll have Mike on a little bit later and ask him about some of those developments. Does anyone remember Simon, it was Geller, right?
Simon Geller, yeah.
WVCA. WVCA. Simon Geller was kind of this, if I may be so bold, kind of an eccentric character, ran the radio station out of his home in Gloucester, and it was part home, part studio, part storage area, and had quite a reputation, though, but he really loved his classical music. I don't know if that's what Mike's planning for the new WVCA, but maybe we'll ask him a little bit later. But, there were people who really cared about the business, and now we read about, actually, I'll get your thought on this. We're kind of doing kind of industry talk right now. But, folks, many of you may not realize, because it's really only in the trade circles right now, but WBZ, which has been a fixture in Boston. Matter of fact, arguably the first commercial station. It received the first commercial radio license in 1921, not its sister station, KDKA. That's a longer story for another day. But WBZ had been affiliated with Westinghouse, then known as Group W, and then Westinghouse bought CBS and then became part of CBS. But now, CBS Radio, which started, 90 years ago?
Yeah.
This year, CBS Radio has decided to get out of the radio business. And so there are some overlapping stations between the buyer of CBS Radio, Entercom. They have some stations already in Boston. So BZ is being pushed out to the curb. We don't know. Maybe you know. I don't think I've heard anything new about who actually might buy BZ.
I've heard nothing about it, but the tower's in Hull. And the property there is very, very expensive. So as what happens with a lot of AM radio stations, the value of the land and the property exceeds the value of the station itself. So at one point, God knows the land out in Hull is probably worth $20, $30 million. So at one point you probably have to sell it to a developer and take the towers down. So what do you do at the station?
No, and of course, I mean, BZ FM, the sports hub, they are the sports hub, right? So that, but that's also being cast out to the curb. So now this could be an opportunity for a local programmer to come in and bring local programming back to one of the big Boston AM or FM stations. Right now, there really isn't much local in Boston, is there?
No, there isn't. No.
And I think that hurts all of us in radio, doesn't it?
Yes,
because
it does.
People start leaving radio because there isn't enough local content. Well, we provide it here, you provide it in Salisbury, so that's certainly, I guess we all have to worry about what the big guys do. And if I may be so bold, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for you, you can disagree with me, Jay, but if I may be so bold, I think the federal government really screwed up in 1996 by allowing this massive consolidation of radio. What it has done, and I maybe only slightly exaggerate this story, but during the World Trade Center terrorism and the towers came down. Literally, the radio station right next to the towers was on the air with some music program and not even mentioning what was happening all around them. That's because there wasn't anyone in the building.
That's correct. Yeah.
And so we lose localism when station owners just make the radio station a computer in a rack and not have the local people on to tell you what's happening. I mean, the listener isn't stupid. The listener can see things, and they must be amazed that the people at the radio station either don't have windows or something. So it is kind of a serious problem. And so, well, I certainly hope that they settle this, because frankly it helps all of us in radio when that works.
I think what you're going to find is smaller stations like you and I are probably going to be more prominent, as time goes on. Because a lot of, like the big stations, just, you can't afford to buy commercial time at a big station. It costs thousands of dollars.
Actually, that's a very good point you make, and we have to take a call, but let's work this in. A very good point. One of the selling points, if I may use that term, because we're both non-commercial stations, but one of the selling points for WXBJ and for WHAV is that if you're a local bank or a local hardware store, you're not going to attract a checking account from Hull or Scituate or Fall River. Right. You're going to attract people only in the local area. And so why buy all that territory at a big station when for a fraction of the cost you're going to reach only the people you need?
That's correct. Yeah.
So it's a good point. All right, let's take that caller. I'm assuming it's on your side. Chris, you are on the Open Mic Show.
Is that me?
It must be you.
It must be me. With a couple of birthdays.
We're going to buy you a new phone, by the way.
I don't know why you say that, because I've been using the same one for years, and I think the issue is probably at your end.
Well, I don't know. I could hear Jerry okay. I can't hear you very well at all. I'm sorry. We're going to eventually work on that. We did replace, not that we wanted to, but we did replace a board in our master control room, and maybe we're just going to have to make some more adjustments to it. But in any event, you kick off birthdays. I don't know if you already have this month. I can't.
Well, I have two birthdays to announce.
All right, and who are we wishing happy birthday to?
Well, one of them his real name is Edwin, but he's got a nickname. We call him Bebo. He won last year.
All right, what's his nickname?
Bebo. It's his Spanish name.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just not sure I can even hear it.
Bebo, but his name is Edwin.
All right, Edwin. Happy birthday, Edwin.
And then the other one is my annual Chris or Christine.
Christine. Okay.
She left Haverhill, moved to Salem, New Hampshire, but she still works in Haverhill.
Okay, great. So, do you know their birthdays, actual dates?
Yeah, hers is the 22nd, and his is the 27th.
Hey, folks, you know the deal here. What you do is you become friends with Brian. He's got a great track record at somehow picking the winners. So you become friends. Now, I'm going to speak for Brian here, and he may object. But only condition Brian has to announcing you for a birthday cake is that you share a piece with him. Is that right, Brian?
Yeah, sure.
All right, Brian. Hey, very good. Thank you for keeping the birthday tradition going. For the rest of you, we'll take calls a little bit later on, but you could win a free 7-inch cake, choice of vanilla or chocolate, from Albide's second-generation Italian bakery, 140 South Main Street, right here in Haverhill. Thank you very much, Brian.
Okay. You have a good evening.
You too. Take care. We are at the top of the hour. Chris, is this a birthday call? All right, I'm sorry. There's a caller waiting. I'm afraid you're going to have to hold. Coming up after local news, we're going to have singer-songwriter, performer, and filmmaker EJ Ouellette and stand-up bass player Shane Pender right here on the Open Mic Show. Thank you, Jay, for joining us.
Thank you.
And chatting about the business. We'll be right back.
Open mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 7:01.
WHAV LP Haverhill.
Here's what's happening in local news. Wondering what's going on with the boarded-up building at 127 to 133 Merrimack Street? On Tuesday, City Council will receive a request from RB Asset Management of Methuen for hearing on a permit to build a 6-story mixed-use building with 42 rental units and a first-floor commercial space facing Merrimack Street. The council meets beginning at 7 p.m. in the Theodore Pelosi Council Chambers on the second floor of Haverhill City Hall. According to Haverhill attorney William Barron, the developer has a signed agreement to buy the building pending approval of the development. According to public records, the principal of RB Asset Management is Francis Bevilacqua III. Barron's communication with the City Council say the Merrimack Street property will be developed under the city's waterfront district zoning rules. The permit hearing is scheduled for the Council's October 31st meeting. Also on Tuesday, Council will receive a request from Mayor James Fiorentini to borrow $1.17 million to complete the replacement of windows and repair of masonry on the Haverhill Police Station. Gale Associates, the consultant on the project, estimates the remaining work to cost $1.06 million, but recommends an additional 10% contingency to cover unforeseen issues. Council rules require the request be held for 2 weeks before they act on it, meaning the vote is likely to take place during the October 31st meeting. An employee of a River Street convenience store received stab wounds while fighting off a would-be robber early Sunday morning. The employee of Red Hen Market, 56 River Street, received multiple stab wounds from an as-yet unidentified masked man a half hour into his store shift at about 12:30 a.m. Sunday. Officially unidentified, the employee, described as being in his mid-20s, fended off the attack and then arranged for another worker to fill in for him before being taken by ambulance to a local hospital, his co-workers told WHAV. He fought him off. There was blood everywhere, the co-worker said. Most of the blood came from a gash above the eye. Otherwise, his colleague theorized wounds were non-life-threatening, likely because the knife used had a curved blade and could not be easily used to puncture. The attack took place inside the store entrance. Police said Sunday night the suspect is a dark-skinned male with a hood, dark jacket, standing approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall. The suspect fled with an undisclosed amount. Anyone with information is asked to call Haverhill Police at 978-373-1212 and leave an anonymous tip. There were no injuries reported late Saturday night when a man reportedly fired a pistol into the air after a fight broke out in Lafayette Square. Haverhill police said an unidentified man fired one or more shots into the air and then fled with others in both a Ford Explorer and a Honda Civic at about 10:45 p.m. Saturday. The scene took place in the parking lot of CVS Pharmacy, 150 Lafayette Square. Upon arrival, Haverhill officers encountered a large group who stated they just got jumped and someone fired shots, said Detective Lieutenant Robert Prestoni, police spokesman. An investigation suggested 2 women met at CVS to fight after an unknown dispute. During the fight between the 2 females, police said other females and males joined into the fight, and at one point a male party pulled out a pistol and fired it into the air. Haverhill police asked anyone with information to call 978-373-1212 and leave an anonymous tip. A 57-year-old Haverhill man died late Saturday night, apparently after suffering a medical event before crashing into two parked cars on High Street. Haverhill police were called to 71 High Street at about 10:45. A preliminary investigation by Haverhill police and a Massachusetts State Police reconstruction team suggests the man driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee may have succumbed just before the crash and lost control of the vehicle. A passenger in the Jeep was not injured. The unidentified driver was taken to Holy Family Hospital, Haverhill, where he was pronounced dead from what police said were presumed to be medical conditions unrelated to the accident. The accident caused the street to be closed during the investigation. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at WHAV.net. From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Tim Coco.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Priscilla Huff. Thousands flee as Iraqi forces enter Kirkuk. Kurdish-dominated regions, including the city of Kirkuk, voted overwhelmingly in favor of independence from Iraq. 31 people are dead in wildfires across Spain and Portugal. Meanwhile, California reports 200,000 acres have been torched, but the fires there are coming under control. Malta's prime minister is calling the death of a government critic in a car bomb attack barbaric.
Wave weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Gary Best with wave weather. Becoming partly cloudy to clear and turning colder during the night. Low temperature by morning, middle and upper 30s. During the day on Tuesday, sunny and cool, upper 50s. Clear about 40 Tuesday night. Wednesday, sunny, milder, well up in the 60s. This is Gary Best. Your next wave weather coming up in 30 minutes.
97.9 WHAV. .9 FM WHAV.
Catch the wave. WHAV. Merrimack Valley. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Okay, and we're back here on the Open Mic Show, and wow, what a full house we have.
Yay.
Those of you who are watching on Facebook, I understand there is a Facebook feed, and of course 97.9 FM WHAV. We have EJ Ouellette, and it is Ouellette, right?
Ouellette. Wah. Woo.
That's okay.
Well, actually, sometimes Ouellette.
Well, it starts with an O, so
Right.
we have some announcers around here who got confused.
That's
so,
right. Think of the French word for yes, oui. Oui.
Okay. I hope Robin is listening because she's the one who had the question. And we have Shane Pender, is it?
Yes, pleasure to be here.
All right. Look at that. That's bigger than our studio. All right. And what is that called?
This is an upright bass.
All right. So, for our radio listeners, tell them what an upright bass is.
Well, that's a large acoustic bass. You get a lot more resonance out of this.
We could build a studio in it.
You
so.
can't do that. I should make a comment that I
Okay.
talked him into taking this up 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
This
Yes.
is true.
So this is well. Let's actually introduce this properly. So,
Okay.
new CD is out.
Yes.
Conjure Man.
Conjure Man,
Conjure.
Conjure Man.
It's like a conjure up something.
Yes.
Like a bewitched.
Like a
kind
hoodoo
of-
man.
Well, and that actually reminds me. I see we've added filmmaker to the many titles you have.
That's right.
I'm
working on that.
Let's all go back to the beginning and figure this out. You're a Haverhill native.
Yes.
And you went to Haverhill High School. You graduated
In 1971.
1971. You also had Ed Johnson.
I had Ed Johnson for public speaking.
All right. So Tom Bergeron did.
Love that guy.
I did. Many others have. This is the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom. And we dedicated this in 2009. And Pat Johnson came, and she was among the dignitaries.
Right,
and she's
right.
been. I don't know. Have you met Pat?
I met Pat years ago.
She's been very, very supportive of bringing WHAV back. We were
Fabulous.
able to do that. And it's
Ed Johnson was such a great guy. I mean,
You know, it's funny. I don't think anyone has a bad word to say.
No.
And even Tom Bergeron said, you know, everyone has bad days, but he could never think of any day that Ed Johnson had a bad day.
no, he was wonderful.
Always smiling.
Yeah.
He mentored many of us.
Yeah.
Did he have any impact on your career?
He did. He helped me with my confidence during public speaking.
Oh, so is that what it took?
Yeah, it did. Back when I was a junior, I believe, was when I had my first experience with him. And then I had a recording studio, and he was doing ads for me back in the 80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. What recording studio was that?
I had a studio called Ad Lab. So I did commercials there, and I produced records, and I also taught.
Now, we told listeners, but you correct me if I'm wrong, most people will know you as EJ Ouellette in Crazy Maggy.
Correct.
How did it all begin?
Crazy Maggy. Well, I'm a fiddler. I didn't bring my fiddle today, but and I played traditional New England fiddle music, which was a combination of Irish, Scottish, and French, Quebecois, and I had relatives that grew up with that music. Being French, and also I had a lot of Irish in my family. My mother's father was Irish, so I grew up with the music, and I kind of picked up the fiddle a little bit late in life, and then I ended up going to Africa to build a recording studio in Mauritania, Nouakchott, Mauritania.
We should have had you on long ago. This is going to be part one of a 72-part series.
We're going to need a lot of time.
All right. So,
and that's where I was born in the desert, in the Sahara Desert, and I was playing all these tunes that I played on my fiddle with 9 Pula drummers at the U.S. Embassy in Nouakchott. And I came back with a plan.
My goodness. Now, what year was that?
2001.
2001.
Summer of 2001.
Now, okay, you have more than 40 years' experience, studio owner. We'll learn a little bit about this. Producer, engineer, musician, and teacher. Teacher how? Where?
I've been a music teacher most of my life. I teach instruments at my studio, and then my company's called Whole Music, and we have teachers there, and we developed over 14,000 musicians in the Merrimack Valley.
Now, for people wondering, I think most know, but if they don't, your brother of recreation,
yes,
Vinny Ouellette.
Vinny.
We're going to have him on. He's shyer than you are.
Not really.
Not really. He probably doesn't want to be asked any tough questions.
That's the thing. You can ask me any question.
All right. Well, we may do that.
I'm self-employed. It doesn't matter.
All right. Now, I did take the liberty of ripping all of these to play.
Beautiful.
But you're actually here. And I don't know what you have planned for us, but I'll tell you what. I want to let our listeners know something, because you and I spoke by, this is the new world, that we spoke by Facebook.
That's right.
In the old days, you might have used a phone. Or maybe in person, but that's old-fashioned. So we chatted by Facebook, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be running cuts from this CD. We are ASCAP affiliates.
Yep, right.
So, and you're an ASCAP
I'm an ASCAP
person,
guy.
so you might even get a penny out of us.
Great.
So we are going to be playing these. We're going to come up with some afternoons, and we're going to be running cuts from your album.
Beautiful.
And you actually may have given us an idea about doing more of this with some other local
Oh, that's
artists.
great.
So we'd like to do more of that. This is a local station, local programs. But I'll tell you what we need to do, though. We need to take a brief break for Community Spotlight, and then we can figure out what it is you guys are going to do with that. Don't hit me with that. Okay. All right, we'll be back here on the Open Mic Show in just 1 minute.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
The Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom turns out local programs every day and night. Tune in for local news, Community Spotlight, and the Open Mic Show. 97.9 WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more, at WHAV.net.
Catch the wave.
Hi, it's Gary LaPierre. I worked for WHAV. It was brief. Long story. Tell you sometime. Anyway, become a WHAV member or renew your membership now. Just visit WHAV.net and click on the membership tab.
Community Spotlight.
Haverhill residents are invited to attend a luncheon and wine tasting at Sorbino Vineyards in Sandown, New Hampshire on Wednesday, October 18th. Put together by the city's Council on Aging, the event will feature a tasting of 9 Sorbino wines, followed by a cooking demonstration by Chef Rob Ozunian, formerly of Joseph's Trattoria. During the demo, Ozunian will prepare 3 dishes to be served. Tickets for the luncheon are $65. Reservations are required by calling Kathy Bresnahan at 978-374-2390. Someone you know is on WHAV. To submit or read your own nonprofit announcements, click on the Contact tab at WHAV.net or email news@WHAV.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Robin Fancher.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
And we're back here on the Open Mic Show. We're going to go to a cut from the new CD by EJ Ouellette, Conjure Man, Conjure Man. You want to tell us anything about this?
Yes.
How did you conjure this up?
Well, I did a play a bunch of years ago for a small theater company, and it was a part about a hoodoo man, and then I made up a story loosely based on it, and I recorded it, and I absolutely loved it, and I started dreaming about it. And we're actually building a TV pilot around it right now.
Now we're going to learn more about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So should we go ahead with Conjure Man, Conjure Man? Chris, take it away.
Well, deep in the night, felt something wasn't right. Heard whispers in the dark, something hiding from the light. It felt like I was dreaming, I swear I was awake. Thought I saw the hoodoo man stumbling around the lake. He had long gray hair and skin hung from his face. He said, what you want, man? What brings you to my place? My world's got troubles and madness fills our days. I'm looking for some magic to help her mend her ways. Conjure man, what will it take to rid my world of anger and hate? Conjure man, that is what I said. Help bring the one I love back home to my name. He said, if you pay the price, I'll do what I can. It's all just a practice with a little sleight of hand. I know what you're asking, and I think I can provide, but my magic works one way, so boy, you best decide. Now this is what I want, your soul belongs to me. Careful what you wish for, son, my magic don't come free. I gave you a potion, some herbs and roots and bills. The girl that you ate for, man, will run your soul to hell. Conjure man, is this all it takes to bring my woman back and end my heartache? Conjure man, I will pay the toll. I want my lover back tonight, and you can have my soul. Conjure man, conjure man, conjure man, conjure man, conjure man, conjure man. drink this up and watch your dreams come real. Well, his magic really did the trick. She lives and breathes to please. I never get to sleep no more. I'm living on my knees. Yeah, everywhere I go, she's glued right by my side. She wears me like a ball and chain. There's no place to hide. Her tongue is always in my ear, her hand upon my thigh. I cannot meet the need she has. Feel I'm gonna die. Conjure man, conjure man, conjure man, conjure man, conjure man, conjure man, conjure man. I feel I'm gonna die.
And we're back here on the Open Mic Show. What a wonderful song. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim.
When did the CD come out?
CD came out this past year. We're sort of rolling it out still, and it's been out since late spring.
All right. Now, well, you know what? You're holding these heavy instruments. Why don't we go right to a live performance? This is pretty neat for us.
Sure.
To have a live performance in the studio, and then we'll ask you some more questions. So
Sure.
you can either tell us what you want to do, or we'll
All
just
right.
go right to it.
All right, well, this is a song that is on the record, and it's called No More Wasting Time, and it's for anybody that decides that they want to get to what they're really meant to do, and then just go do it. That's
All
it.
right.
And it's called No More Wasting Time.
All right, Chris will let me know off air if we have any balancing problems. Okay.
You put your best laid plans in your pocket when love called your name. How many more times you've forgotten to come inside when it starts to rain? To come inside when it starts to rain. Feels like the road's gonna end before you get somewhere, and those turns that you made didn't get you there. And the moments turn to years, they're gone forever. No more wasting time, no more wasting time. Did you ever see the beauty in what's before you? Does it all need to fit in your plan? It just comes down to those feelings, 'cause you're losing the moment at hand. 'Cause you're losing the moment at hand. Feels like the road's gonna end before you get somewhere, and those turns that you made didn't get you there. And the moments turn to years, they're gone forever. No more wasting time, no more wasting time. Pick it. You want when you want it, but there's something that bleeds from your heart. Keep moving in that same direction, and you'll never know which way to start. 'Cause you'll never know which way to start. Feels like the road's gonna end before you get somewhere, and those turns that you made didn't get you where. Feels like the road's gonna end before you get somewhere, and the moments turn to years, they're gone forever. And those moments turn to tears, they're here forever. No more wasting time, no more wasting time, no more wasting time, no more wasting time, no more, 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 no more.
Come on, studio audience.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I
Thank
can't
you.
tell you how much you wouldn't know this, but I'm a big fan of old time radio when there were were live performances in studios, and
This is fun for us. It's fun for me.
I just love to do this. And, you're kind of right next to like a 16-inch transcription disc. The way these things were done in the old days, they could only fit 15
Live.
minutes on these things.
Right down on it.
And the transcriptions weren't much on the air.
Was
so
that
they did a lot of live.
78 RPMs?
That one actually might be a 33. I think those are 78.
So it's 78,
But no, but it's the old days of radio when radio was live and everything was live. The music was live.
Spontaneous.
The performances were live.
Yeah, yeah.
And the risks were live like they
of
are
course.
now. Now, speaking of that,
I will not embarrass you.
No, that's right. Thank you very much. He's got his hand ready on the profanity delay. No, that's all right. We're not going to do that. But there's just so much here to talk about. But my head is spinning with all the stuff I'm hearing and thinking here. But you mentioned your video. You mentioned to me, not on air, but let's tell the audience about it. You have a music video that's up for a Grammy. Is that?
Well, it's not up for a Grammy right now. I submitted it for Best Music Video with the Grammy Music Academy. And today we started voting, and I'm getting people. You have to get people to vote for it.
Okay.
And you work that.
These are industry people.
Yeah, and everybody's telling me, well, it's the big guys that get the music video, and not the small guys. I don't consider myself that small, but I said, why not? We're independents, so let's it's time. Indies are getting more have more persuasion, and so I'm taking a shot at it. No illusions, but we'll see if we can do this.
When will you know?
Probably, I'll know if we get through the first round after the voting's done on the 29th. And my album is also, I've submitted it as Best Americana Album, and I'm going for Best American Roots Performance and Best American Roots Song and Best Instrumental Arrangement.
All right.
And that's with the violin tune that I have on there that's called Gideon's Lament.
Gideon's Lament.
That's right. These songs are all soundtracks to the pilot. My next
question for you.
We have a film company called Hoodoo Man Films, and
Hoodoo Man
Films, and the video that we submitted is actually a short video to our first episode that is finished, and it's online as well. And that is the first episode to our pilot that we're.
Where online? Can
you can go right.
You
can look at Conjure Man. There's two versions. One is official and one's the long form, and that has acting in it.
Okay.
The long one, yes.
Wow.
So yeah,
we're going to recruit you guys. We're going to start WHAV. We already have .tv.
No more wasting time.
Well, let me ask you though. That's a nice segue. We're going to take a break for weather in a minute, and you have time?
Yeah, sure.
There's been so much changes in all of our industries. Radio has changed, recording has changed, and I was kind of half joking with you off air that when I was growing up, you'd go down to the Methuen Mall, maybe before that to Mitchell's, but then I'd have everyone know how old I really am.
Paul Abadanza.
Yeah.
I was talking with his daughter, Paula, just a few minutes ago on Facebook, and we were talking about how I used to buy records from her dad.
That's right, the old days, so we'd go buy some 45s, and if we had a little more money, we'd maybe buy the album.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, things have changed. There's iTunes, and how has that affected a performer? Has that helped you?
The industry, when MP3s came in, that really decimated the recording industry.
And that's because of piracy? Or
Piracy,
they didn't know how
back
to
with
pay
Napster and the whole thing, and people are still doing that, but what we're doing in the industry now is streaming is coming on, and we're still not happy with it. There's legislation coming up right now. As a matter of fact, I'm part of that. I'm pushing our state legislatures to help us out so that we get fair pay for fair play. I'm with the Recording Academy, the Grammys, and right now there's legislation.
Fair pay for fair play.
That's right.
Okay.
And there's a certain party that's preventing this from happening, but we're going to...
Really?
Yes.
Now, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Most of our audience isn't going to know what I'm talking about, but here DMCA means a lot to us because it means we can't play so many cuts from the same album within a certain period of time.
I've never known that.
No, so under now on air is unrestricted, but because we stream, we have 3 streams, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. DMCA says that if I wanted to play your 13 cuts in a row,
I have to pay you.
I'm prohibited.
Really?
Because I'm not sure because why, and that's why I was going to ask you. I think it could be because in the days of the Napster and that kind of thing, someone could get a whole album for free by taking a digital copy and that kind of thing. I don't know how easy that actually is, and I don't know that, frankly, kids want to work that hard to steal that much, but maybe they do.
Now they're into streaming.
So
this is everybody streaming. So that's how, I mean, I like CDs. Yeah, and in fact, I'm thinking I'm going to buy a turntable as well.
Turntables.
Yeah.
You actually,
I'm going to put this album out on
vinyl?
On vinyl, yeah.
You know, one of my biggest disappointments, we're talking about you, but we'll talk about me now. One of my biggest disappointments is that it took me 40 years to get a radio station. And all those 40 years that I worked at the original WHAV and I worked at some other stations, all those years I expected that when I finally got a radio station, there would be turntables and cart machines and reel-to-reel decks, and those have all been replaced by that little box down there.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it's all changed, but has that been easier for you to produce music?
Well, I'm an engineer, and I have a recording studio, and yeah, to me, when I had no problems moving from tape to digital. At all.
I have to admit, I don't have tape hiss to deal with. I don't need to use Dolby.
Right.
We've probably destroyed that industry.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
When we make a recording, people don't know if you can't even say live or Memorex, because Memorex was never that good.
That's right. And I absolutely love this whole digital playground. I love it.
I find it's a lot easier for us to work.
Still have
the studios are less crowded because what would we do if we had cart machines and reel-to-reels with this thing here?
That's right. I've got a big tape machine in my studio.
All right. We're going to take a brief break now for local weather. I know Chris has got phones ringing and everything going on in there, but Chris, if you can accommodate us, we're going to take a break for local weather. We'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show in just 1 minute.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 7:33.
If you want to know what's going on at WHAV, sign up for the free monthly Wavelengths newsletter online at whav.net.
Catch the wave!
Melinda's Garden Moments help gardeners create and maintain a healthy, beautiful garden with ease, inside or out, and all year long. This is Melinda Myers, inviting you to tune in every weekday morning, right here on WHAV. You'll learn creative ways to grow your own vegetables and herbs while beautifying your landscape. Eco-friendly lawn care, flower garden design basics, unique container gardens, attracting birds and butterflies to the landscape, and much more. Again, please join me weekday mornings for Melinda's Garden Moment for a very environmentally friendly approach to gardening. Remember, only local radio can bring you this feature opportunity, but only WHAV does.
Wave weather!
I'm WHAV meteorologist Gary Best with wave weather. Becoming partly cloudy to clear and turning colder during the night. Low temperature by morning, middle and upper 30s. During the day on Tuesday, sunny and cool, upper 50s. Clear about 40 Tuesday night. Wednesday, sunny, milder, well up in the 60s. This is Gary Best. Your next wave weather coming up in 30 minutes.
WHAV Open Mic!
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
You lied.
And we're back in the studio. Open Mic Show, 97.9 FM, WHAV. And we're going to hear what? Live.
We're going to do a song off our CD. It's called You Lied, and it's a modern folk song about...
Oh, the song is You Lied. I thought you were talking about me.
No. It's a heartfelt song that I wrote with my writing partner, Lisa. And it's about my mom's story, losing my mom to cancer. And it was my dad's story too, but it's also everybody's story. And there's redemption in it as well. So it's a nice little tune. I love it. And it's
very good. All right.
So it's called You Lied.
Gone, said you would stay forever. Where have you gone? Thought you would leave me never. Didn't you say we would never be apart? Didn't you vow to gently take my full heart? You must know that I'm alone, and I wonder where you are. 'Cause you lied to me. You lied to me. All that you had left, shoes by the bed, your lavender sweet smell, fire opal ring. Did you deceive when you took my hand? Was this the plan to leave me in this wasteland? A careful choice of words hid the truth. Sins of omission cut as deep. 'Cause you lied to me. You lied to me. All the sweet things you left behind. Rose-colored glasses, lavender sweet smell, wanted more than this pale ending. Good intentions guide love, and a hopeful exit all. You didn't choose all that pain you carried, you slipped away. My worry had grown so weary, feel like a fortune's fool, hard luck tool, it's so cruel. You must know that I'm alone, and I wonder where you are. 'Cause you lied to me. You lied to me. All that you had left, shoes by the bed, robe on the floor, message on my phone, your lavender sweet smell, fire opal ring, shoes by the bed, and a dying whisper, all is well.
Wow, very emotional, very emotional.
For my mom.
Especially with that backstory.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
sorry for your loss.
That's okay. Well, it's everybody's loss.
No, actually, my mother
You know?
and father both passed.
That's
away.
right. So I'm just, rather than running from it, and I talk about
It's
it.
a nice salute. Nice.
Thank you.
Very nice, all of you.
Exactly.
And you want? I mean, you're in our picture. I don't know if you were on our air, but you want to tell us about your role in all of this?
Well, EJ and I have become writing partners, and have.
Because you mentioned, and
Yes.
I got to bring
Yeah,
you
yeah.
into this now.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of fun.
What's,
Here I am.
what is your name?
My name is Lisa O'Donnell.
Lisa O'Donnell.
Yeah.
And you're writing partners.
Yes.
Right.
And we're co-directors.
Co-directors. Now, tell us about this filmmaker part of your title now. I mean, you had already 15 titles.
Well, when I write a song and when Lisa writes with me, we start developing these images, and now it becomes more visual and a little more demanding to tell this story with a camera. So I invested in equipment, and now we're doing this stuff.
Big expense, isn't it?
Yes, not as much as it used to be.
Well, no,
You know,
that's true. And actually,
yeah.
you know, it's funny. You may have observed and may have been offended by this little camera over here is much higher resolution than the professional camera we were using up until a while ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And we will eventually get one that looks a little more professional than that one.
Sure.
But this is HD. The other one didn't quite get
4K.
But we found that it works for what we're doing. But we're going to have to compare notes on technology at some point.
Sure. it's how you use it, really. It's how you capture it.
Well, in this day and age, I mean, it's not enough to do radio or television or podcast. You got to do them all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Is that what you bring to this?
Yeah, I think that we've fed each other's creativity, and I think that these characters are really strong in these songs. I think they've sort of come alive in these songs, and so they just did beg for a visual medium as well. So.
You know what we ought to do before? Can you stay a little bit longer?
Yeah, sure.
Before we take this next break, how can someone buy the CD? Shouldn't that be kind of an important part of this?
Well, you can go online to iTunes, and you can buy it off iTunes, or you can email me at ejo@wholemusic.com, and we'll send them right out to you.
ejo@wholemusic.com.
WHOLE music.com. So that way we keep out the middleman. You can call me up.
Oh, good.
You can email me, and we can send it right out to you.
And on iTunes, you can download.
You can download it on iTunes. We're available everywhere digitally.
Now, let me ask you this. I know it's on iTunes. Sometimes you can buy an individual song. Sometimes you have
Yes,
to
you
buy
can do
the
that
whole
too.
CD. You can do that?
Yeah, you can.
Does that hurt you?
Well,
album. They may have just heard one of your songs tonight and said, I want that song, but they miss like 12 others.
There are a lot of folks that still want to buy CDs, and we do better when we sell a CD, because we don't have a middle person. But I'm happy with the digital downloads, just as long as they get the music. That's all I care about.
No, that makes sense.
I really love this record, and the songs on this record are going to be, that's right, record. I know recording. It's a record of my past year.
Well, I guess it's true in that either way, right?
And the songs are the soundtrack for the film.
And the soundtrack. I'll tell you, folks, we're going to just take a very brief break, if Chris is there. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show. And look at the cast. It's growing each hour. We'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show on 97.9 FM, WHAV.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
Your membership enables WHAV to remain local and independent. Consider joining at WHAV.net.
Catch the wave!
Hi, Tom Bergeron here. I started at WHAV in 1972. And look, WHAV's still here, but it won't be if you don't help support it. Go to WHAV.net. Become a contributor. Keep us going.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
7:45 here on the Open Mic Show. I'm your host, Tim Coco. We're going to be joined again in a few minutes by EJ Ouellette, Shane Pender, and I've already forgotten your name?
Lisa O'Donnell.
Lisa O'Donnell. Saying this is get preoccupied. But first, we're going to hear another cut from the album Conjure Man, and we're going to hear Nobody Thinks I'm Bad. Chris, take it away.
Say no to you. Time and time again, you walk all over me. I would just sit and smile, but I never let you see me bleed. Never let you see me bleed. Nobody thinks I'm dead. I'll be that little voice that's inside your head. Nobody thinks I'm dead. You know I never lie, I don't have to try, till the day I die. You don't know what's in my heart, it's black and blue from the start. I can see your scars, let me show you mine. More and more, you begin to know there's a huge little monster deep inside. I cannot help but show, cannot help but show. Nobody thinks I'm dead. I'll be that little voice that's inside your head. Nobody thinks I'm dead. I'll be that crazy love that you never had. I'll go home and pace, stare into my face. My heart will start to race, my heart will race. It's been so long that I've been down, buried underground, but I've come around. Times have changed, and I'm not the same. This night again, no more shame. My mama told me long ago to stand up for myself. She said, son, you're not a big, strong man. Don't let them put you on a shelf. Now, maybe don't get me wrong, and maybe just get me right. I won't be mean. I can only dream. I can only dream. Nobody thinks I'm dead. I'll be that crazy love that you never had. Nobody thinks I'm dead. I'll be that little voice that's inside your head. I won't make you sad, you know you can't be had. I will drive you mad, 'cause I'm so bad.
And we're back here on the Open Mic Show. Amazing how that works, isn't
They're
it?
good.
Anyway, we are enjoying the music from the CD Conjure Man by EJ Ouellette. And we have also with us, actually, I'm going to ask, you really haven't had a chance to ask you some questions, but we also have Shane. Shane, I was going to call you Sean. See, I'm old. I have to go back and look at my notes. Shane Pender. Now, how long have you been involved with this auspicious organization?
This auspicious organization. I've known EJ for a little over a year. I've been playing with him for a couple months now.
He came to me about 3 years ago for bass lessons, and I gave him bass lessons, and he did really well. And then he said he came back from college, and he says, I want to take lessons again. And he started taking lessons again, and now he's my apprentice at my studio, and he plays in my workshops, and I've said, let's get you on this bass and let's do some gigs.
So there are growth opportunities.
There's growth opportunities.
That's a
Beauty and the Beast.
Like I said, we could do a 72-part series. So if someone wanted to take music lessons,
yeah, EJO at wholemusic.com.
So what kinds of things can they do, or is it all custom?
I teach a lot of instruments and voice, whatever, and
the whole gamut.
The whole gamut. And
So-
I can produce your record for you if you want to be I do artist development there.
No, we
as
ought
well.
to do. Maybe we ought to do one of those things. We'll get some of your students. We'll see how you feel about this. While
Sure.
saying it, I'm thinking out loud on the air, which is probably the worst thing to do on the live radio. But I can almost see this. We could do an annual thing with a panel of your top students.
Okay.
And we do some kind of. I don't want to make any analogies to those TV shows. Are not so good.
We have a lot of adults. We have a large adult community.
No, that's interesting. So we're non-traditional.
Oh yeah, we're not your ordinary music school. We've been around longer than most people, most studios, and no, we do.
You're based in, according to this, Byfield?
Yep, Byfield.
All right. So is the actual
Yep.
studio there, or is
There's
that
an
just a
actual
mailing
studio
address?
there, studio in my home, and it's a nice big 2,700 square foot studio, and we're expanding even more so, and that's why we're doing producing a recording. It's my 4th studio.
Really?
Yeah.
So where have you been over the years?
I've been I've been in Byfield for 20 years, and this year, and I was in Newbury for a bunch of years, and before that I was in Salisbury, and before that I was in Amesbury, and Southampton, New Hampshire. I've had a bunch of studios.
I don't know if you saw the folks in the other room, but they are the operators of WXBJ Radio Salisbury.
Oh, really?
94.1. So
oh, great.
Coming into here to do a
Yeah.
we're of the same type of station, so we're.
I had a recording studio right down there on the boulevard, and we recorded everything, even the Harleys that went by.
Really? What years were those?
I was there from 83 to 93.
So you missed the blizzard that took almost everything into the water.
I did, but but there was one storm that breached and came right and surrounded my studio.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, so you've had all kinds of things.
Yeah, but I was okay.
Okay, we have about 7 minutes left to this
Okay.
wonderful thing. Would you like to do something else live?
Sure, why not?
What you're pretty flexible. I guess you're used to this live stuff because we didn't talk about what we were going to do, how we were
No,
going to do it.
We're creatives.
And so you've been pulling this off wonderfully. What would you like to play next?
Let's do a Steve Earle tune that's on the record. It's called "I Don't Want to Lose You Yet."
Okay, let's
How's
do
that
it.
sound?
Baby, it's a cold, hard world out there. Broken-hearted people everywhere, taking whatever love they get. I don't wanna have it in like this. Baby, throw your arms around my neck, lay your heavy head against my chest. Listen to one heartbeat, then the next. Baby, I don't wanna lose you yet. Lose you yet. I know you love me, and I know I love you. That's the way that love's supposed to go. I don't wanna wake up one day, find out I let it slip away. Baby,
Baby, throw your arms around my neck. Lay your pretty head against my chest. Listen to one heartbeat, then the next. Baby, I don't wanna lose you, yeah. Yeah. Can't tell you about love, I guess, that you don't already know. Girl, when you're in my arms like this, I don't wanna ever let you go. Baby, I was wrong, but what if I was right? Everything depends on us tonight. We may well pass this way again. Honey, I don't wanna wait till then. Baby, throw your arms around my neck. Lay your pretty head against my chest. Listen to one heartbeat, then the next. Baby, I don't wanna lose you yet. Lose you yet. Lose you yet. Oh, baby, throw your arms around my neck. Lay your pretty head against my chest. Listen to one heartbeat, then the next. Baby, I don't wanna lose you yet. Ooh, ooh. Take us home.
More than that.
Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you,
wonderful.
Tim.
Thank you so much.
This was a blast.
I have to say, I don't know, this is long overdue. I am so glad you reached out to me.
Thank you.
Certainly heard of you from years, and as I told you, and I don't know that I mentioned to listeners, but long-time listeners will know that Jack Bevilacqua spoke about you so often.
I love Jack.
And, and we got to get him back here. He visits every now and then. I'm still filling in for him all these years. So,
I never told you any of my Haverhill stories. We should probably save that for another time.
Chapter 73.
Chapter 73.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about how to get the CD or the music.
Okay.
It doesn't have to do. Let's make sure we we can plug. You're not paying
Great,
me. It's not
thank you.
plugola.
Awesome. Plugola.
Matter of fact, he's offered.
That's a great term. I love that. Plugola.
But actually, I'm going to put him on the spot now because I think the mics were off. You said maybe you do a benefit someday for HAV.
I would love to do a benefit for HAV.
And we'd love to have you.
And
this is just such a pleasure.
I have such great support from my Haverhill friends over the years. They just come out all the time. They're always there. I love them. They're my good friends, and it's amazing how they show.
That's a good point. When are you appearing live again?
Well, I'm not playing that much right now. Actually, I'm doing a benefit in Newburyport on November 3rd. It's called Pennies for Poverty.
Pennies for Poverty. Okay,
yes.
So you do have something.
And I'm doing that show down in Newburyport at the Elks Club.
Okay.
And we hope to get a lot of my friends in there, and it's for a great cause, and it's for the homeless.
Oh, is this information available on your website?
It will be on my website, and it will be also. I'll be pushing it on my Facebook page. You can friend me on Facebook.
Okay,
EJ
friend me on
Ouellette,
Facebook.
And we'll be pushing it out there.
All right. Well, this has been such. And then again, to get the music, I know there was a list of choices on your website. Would you say your website again?
My website is. I have my music website, which is ejouellette.com. If you want music lessons, you have to go to wholemusic.com. But ejouellette.com is my artist site.
And there's some options there for how to get the music.
It's all there. You can buy it right there off my website,
you directly.
Or you can send me an email at ejo@wholemusic.com, and I will send you one right out.
I mean, what a wonderful treat. I think everyone here
Thank you.
Agrees. And by the way, especially if it's all right with you, the one thing that did seem to go right is we were able to record the video, and we'll be able to, it'll be on our website probably tomorrow.
Beautiful.
So that if you want to go back and see how we did, I'm always intimidated when I go back and see how I did.
I always go back and look at the bowl, face the bowl.
So there's be another opportunity if you tuned in late. So really appreciate having all of you here in the studio, and thank you
very much. Thank you, Ed Johnson, for creating this.
Yeah, actually, Ed Johnson really did. Apparently, at least two of us here tonight.
Yeah,
so
he's awesome.
We'll do that.
And Tom Bergeron.
Thank you, Tom. Who was here just a couple months ago. He'll be
buddy.
back, I'm sure, because I have to say, what I really like about Tom is that he did not go Hollywood, if you will. He's
Right.
still local supporter. Comes back when he can, as often as he can, really defends his roots.
That's great.
Really a great guy all around.
We grew up in the same neighborhood.
That was what, in Hilldale?
Hilldale.
Hilldale.
Yeah, I was brought up in the projects.
All right.
And he was up the street.
I came from Bradley Brook, but that wasn't that far away in the scope of the world.
No.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to go to local news. This is where I do my ventriloquist act. We're going to go to local news, local weather, and we'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show after that.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 8:01.
WHAV LP Haverhill.
Here's what's happening in local news. An employee of a River Street convenience store received stab wounds while fighting off a would-be robber early Sunday morning. The employee of Red Hen Market, 56 River Street, received multiple stab wounds from an as-yet unidentified masked man a half hour into his store shift at about 12:30 a.m. Sunday. Officially unidentified, the employee, described as being in his mid-20s, fended off the attack and then arranged for another worker to fill in for him before being taken by ambulance to a local hospital, his co-workers told WHAV. He fought him off. There was blood everywhere, the co-workers said. Most of the blood came from a gash above the eye. Otherwise, his colleague theorized wounds were non-life-threatening, likely because the knife used had a curved blade and could not be easily used to puncture. The attack took place inside the store entrance. Police said Sunday night the suspect is a dark-skinned male with a hood, dark jacket, standing approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall. The suspect fled with an undisclosed amount. Anyone with information is asked to call Haverhill Police at 978-373-1212 and leave an anonymous tip. There were no injuries reported late Saturday night when a man reportedly fired a pistol into the air after a fight broke out in Lafayette Square. Haverhill Police said an unidentified man fired one or more shots into the air and then fled with others in both a Ford Explorer and a Honda Civic at about 10:45 p.m. Saturday. The scene took place in the parking lot of CVS Pharmacy, 150 Lafayette Square. Upon arrival, Haverhill officers encountered a large group who stated they just got jumped and someone fired shots, said Detective Lieutenant Robert Bristoni, police spokesman. An investigation suggested two women met at CVS to fight after an unknown dispute. During the fight between the two females, police said other females and males joined into the fight, and at one point a male party pulled out a pistol and fired it into the air. Haverhill Police asked anyone with information to call 978-373-1212 and leave an anonymous tip. A 57-year-old Haverhill man died late Saturday night, apparently after suffering a medical event before crashing into two parked cars on High Street. Haverhill police were called to 71 High Street at about 10:45. A preliminary investigation by Haverhill Police and a Massachusetts State Police reconstruction team suggests the man driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee may have succumbed just before the crash and lost control of the vehicle. A passenger in the Jeep was not injured. The unidentified driver was taken to Holy Family Hospital, Haverhill, where he was pronounced dead from what police said were presumed to be medical conditions unrelated to the accident. The accident caused the street to be closed during the investigation. Wondering what's going on with the boarded-up building at 127 to 133 Merrimack Street? On Tuesday, City Council will receive a request from RB Asset Management of Methuen for hearing on a permit to build a 6-story mixed-use building with 42 rental units and a first-floor commercial space facing Merrimack Street. The council meets beginning at 7 p.m. in the Theodore Pelosi Council Chambers on the second floor of Haverhill City Hall. According to Haverhill attorney William Barron, the developer has a signed agreement to buy the building pending approval of the development. According to public records, the principal of RB Asset Management is Francis Bevilacqua III. Barron's communication with the City Council say the Merrimack Street property will be developed under the city's waterfront district zoning rules. The permit hearing is scheduled for the Council's October 31st meeting. Also on Tuesday, Council will receive a request from Mayor James Fiorentini to borrow $1.17 million to complete the replacement of windows and repair of masonry on the Haverhill Police Station. Gale Associates, the consultant on the project, estimates the remaining work to cost $1.06 million, but recommends an additional 10% contingency to cover unforeseen issues. Council rules require the request be held for 2 weeks before they act on it, meaning the vote is likely to take place during the October 31st meeting. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at WHAV.net. From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Tim Coco.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Priscilla Huff. Thousands flee as Iraqi forces enter Kirkuk. Kurdish-dominated regions, including the city of Kirkuk, voted overwhelmingly in favor of independence from Iraq. 31 people are dead in wildfires across Spain and Portugal. Meanwhile, California reports 200,000 acres have been torched, but the fires there are coming under control. Malta's prime minister is calling the death of a government critic in a car bomb attack barbaric.
Wave weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Gary Best with wave weather. Becoming partly cloudy to clear and turning colder during the night. Low temperature by morning, middle and upper 30s. During the day on Tuesday, sunny and cool, upper 50s. Clear about 40 Tuesday night. Wednesday, sunny, milder, well up in the 60s. This is Gary Best. Your next wave weather coming up in 30 minutes.
Broadcasting on the Armstrong FM system. This is 97.9 WHAV. Broadcasting on the Armstrong FM system. This is 97.9 WHAV.
Catch the wave. WHAV. Merrimack Valley. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
8 minutes past the hour on 97.9 FM WHAV. This is the Open Mic Show. I'm your host, Tim Coco, in Master Control. We haven't get a chance even to thank them yet. We have Chris Porter, and we have Cindy, you there? Behind... Cindy hiding behind the monitor. Cindy Driver. And, of course, our guests from WXBJ Salisbury, Jay McDonough, Mike Hemian, who's hiding in the corner over here, worked for NBC for many years. Those of you who are longtime viewers and listeners, Mike was on the program a while back, and we talked about some of the changes in television, so maybe we'll ask him some more about that if there's time later. But right now, I believe we have Safety Officer Dave standing by, and I know Dave's been trying to get through for a while, and he actually called a couple weeks ago, so it's great to have an opportunity. Dave, take it away.
How you doing, Tim?
Good. Nice to hear from you. I know you called. Somehow life gets in the way. I didn't get a chance to call you back, so great.
I appreciate that. Listen, the first thing I want to talk about, I want to thank the mayor and the city councilors for helping, fix up Summer Plugs Pond. But I'd like to see more done to it, like some trees in along the shoreline where the road goes in.
Well, what kind of improvements did they make? Tell us that.
They decked decorated. They fixed the house up there, the camp, the drive-in thing. Yeah, that's good. They fixed, the little hut that they have up there.
But these are things you were calling for right here on the open mic, right?
Some of them, yeah. And I'd like to see some more improvements down on it because a tennis court would be nice up there, a volleyball court just before the building, on that right-hand side as you go in.
Yes,
There's
that's right.
nothing there, but, this is what this town needs. It needs some stuff going on,
No, very good, very good. Physical exercise and all.
I wanted to suggest have yard sales in there in the October months and November, and till it gets cold. Have some yard sales in there.
What would this be? Would this be free or?
People to get in, park barrels here, so they could put their rubbish in. I think that would be a very good thing.
It's a great idea. Now, would this be a fundraiser for the city or for charities or just free?
For the Plugs Pond to fix it up, help fix it up.
All right, so this would be money to help clean up Plug Pond with some. I bet we know all the elected officials listen to WHAV, so I bet you'll have someone who'll take you up on that.
I talked to Joseph Bevilacqua the last Halloween parade we had, and it was excellent. And that seems to be getting bigger, and I think it's improving. And I think things are going good.
Actually, let's hear about that. You have another Halloween parade this year?
Yeah, we had that at the Elks over on Summer Street there, and they marched around the high school, the old high school, and into the parking lot and down the street. We had probably maybe 300 kids and grown-ups, and it was interesting. We gave out gifts, prizes, and whatnot. And this is for Aussie's kids to help the Santa Fund.
Okay, that's right.
And
I think we had that on our community spotlight. Great.
Yeah, and Fred Simmons was there, which is, he's running for council, and he's a very nice guy. And I know Freddie for years, and
that's right. He's a great guy. He's been on this program.
Safety advisor, and I appreciate that.
No, you are WHAV safety advisor, safety officer
and,
Dave.
Another thing that I'd like to see done, and we could do it, I know we couldn't, and that's to enforce the bicycle kids on bicycles to have safety features on their bicycles. There's no need of them driving out in front of you in the dark and you possibly running them over or hitting them. They don't have no lights, no reflectors, and we were required to have all that when I was younger. And if they had two people going around, even one person, giving them a ticket for $10, which isn't much, to get that stuff fixed, we may be getting something done, and we'd have this done probably in other towns, I'm sure.
Now, do you think it would be difficult to collect? I mean, do you think there are families that wouldn't pay?
Well, it's either that or take their bicycles away.
All right, so that's pretty strong, huh?
Well, you got to make it strong because this is the only way they're gonna obey it, right?
Yeah. Actually, I'd be wondering, have you thought about taking advantage of public speaking at the city council meetings and maybe present some of these ideas? Because I know they listen to open mic, but they really act when you're standing in front of them.
I may go, if Fred Simmons gets in, I talk to him about it now. I was thinking of seriously of going down there and talking to them and maybe going even on your show.
Well, would love to have you. Always loved. Yeah, I mean, first of all, you are the one who brings us all the information about bad corners, bad sidewalks, no lights, no handicap signs, no parking. No,
I like the improvement that they did up on the upper end of Washington Street. But the problem with that is, you ain't gonna believe this, they expanded the land on the Lowell Ave, Washington Street side, and they expanded the guy's land, and they brought the sidewalk out further, which means if a car goes around that corner and jumps the curb, they're gonna hit somebody.
Oh, my goodness, okay.
And it's the same thing on the other side. They expanded it where Haverhill Housing is. They expanded the walkway out. If you go up there and look, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Now,
and another thing I don't understand is, in the city of Haverhill, they have no written signs for Spanish people. I have nothing against the Spanish people, but how do they understand these signs? If you stop them and you're a police officer, they say, me no comprende.
Well, no, I have to say, you make a good point. I don't know that anyone's ever thought about it before, but you're right. Maybe I don't know if I have an opinion on this yet, but maybe if someone could go to court and say, "Well, I didn't obey the rule because I didn't understand that that's what that sign meant." Maybe you got something there.
Yeah, but I mean, I want you personally to drive up Washington Street, go to the end of the street, and see how sharp that curve is on that corner if you're coming up Washington Street, and make that right-hand turn. If somebody jumps that curb or some kid steps off that curb, they're going to get hit by a car.
All right, so Chris in Master Control and Cindy are going to take me out for a ride later. We're going to check this thing out.
And also, the crossing guard, he stands there and he's in tight quarters. He puts a cone down, but the cone is right up to his car almost. And when they get down there, they're driving down. They're almost to his car. I'm afraid he's going to get hit. He just barely has enough room to step out of his car and go down and do his job.
All right, so we're going to have to take this up with...
Fine job as far as the sidewalks are concerned. I have no problem with that. And, the lighting situation ain't too good. But, I mean, when you get to the end of the street, all they have is a sign there which doesn't explain nothing, as far as I'm concerned.
Now,
people are still trying to make that left as they're coming up Washington Street to go left, to go towards Demolisis.
Do you know City Councilor Michael McGonigal?
I don't know.
Well, he's the head of the Public Safety Committee, and I bet his committee would like to know more about this because he's been very effective. Because, it's one thing when someone calls or someone stands in front of the council, but when you go before the Public Safety Committee, then you get him and the other members to start advocating. They call the police department, they call the highway department, things. So I'll tell you what. Well, I'm sure he's listening, but I'm going to try to take up some of your issues with him as well. Maybe we have this election, so we're going to have candidates on as soon as possible. But maybe after the election, we can have a kind of a one-on-one with you and City Councilor McGonigal to talk about some of these public safety issues, because it seems like you're seeing them and reporting them, and maybe he can help you get some things done.
Go through Lafayette Square. If you're coming down from, what is that, where Store 24 used to be, if you're going straight, right?
That's right.
A lot of people get in that right lane, and you have the left and the right lane, right?
Yes.
As you're heading towards, that store. What's the name of that store on the corner there? Well, anyways, if you're going up Broadway,
yes,
have a car on the inside trying to cut you off when you're in the right lane. There should be arrows on the ground.
You mean right near CVS?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. If you go down, you come to the light. You know where the light is, right?
Yes.
Where they just had that shooting around that area.
That's right. We had that on the news. Yes.
Right. If you go to Broadway, if you're going up the hill, you have a lot of people on the right-hand side trying to cut you off as you're going up the hill. And if you had arrows there, they would have to go right. And the other person that's going up Broadway would have to go up Broadway with no problem.
Okay, good points. We're going to see if we can bring this up with Councilor McGonigal and how to get him on.
I'll call you back probably next week if I can get through, and if you don't have many city councilors on or whatnot. I know you have. You've been pretty busy. I really appreciate talking to you and the rest of the staff.
Actually, you've done a great job. You've done a great job because of you.
We did accomplish some stuff down the stadium, and I thank all the councilors and the mayor for doing what he's doing. Because he's doing, as far as I'm concerned, an excellent job. Now, they're looking for volunteers to decorate up at the Washington Square area up here.
That's right. We'll have some ideas. That's right. They're going to be doing light up the area. That's right.
Yeah, they want to put 10,000 lights up. I used to work for Legacy Amusement
Oh,
Company
did you? Really?
Ago.
Oh, that's a story in itself at some point.
And I used to stand on a ladder, have two guys holding the ladder, one holding one side of it and the other one holding the other side, and I'd go up the ladder and change the lights and the streamers and bulbs and whatnot, and there's the ladder shaking back and forth with me on it.
Okay, now wait a minute. Now, so you might know the answer. Maybe I've already asked you this and I've forgotten. But so you work for Legacy. So what happened to the original bell in Washington Square?
I really don't know, but I would like to know. I heard it was shipped out, and I don't know. I mean, but I don't. And I also heard that they weren't going to put the bell in that they did last year, and I don't see why not. Put it in the middle of that square. Hey, you got the monument down in Lafayette Square, right?
That's right. Yeah,
I
off
mean,
to
put
the
it
side.
in the middle. You can go around that for a temporary thing, just for the holiday, you know?
Yeah, good point. Well, actually, I hadn't heard that, so I'll ask them about that as well. But anyway, I've got to take a break now, but call me back next week. We'll try to, and I bet you're going to get some attention. I appreciate
I hope
this.
so. Tim, you take care of yourself, and I hope everything goes okay for you.
Well, thank you very much, and same to you. All
You're
right.
welcome. Bye now.
All right. We're going to take a brief break. We have a caller waiting. If you just bear with us a little bit longer, we have a break for Community Spotlight. We'll be back in just a minute.
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
Why pay $250 to $350 a year for half as much news? On air and online. 97.9 WHAV provides more Greater Haverhill news more often than any other sources combined. Support the only Haverhill-based news source with your tax-deductible local news membership by clicking on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
Johnny Dollar.
Johnny Dollar, in spite of writing the fanciest expense accounts in the industry, is in high demand by his employers. He's a freelance insurance investigator on the job only when the stakes are sky high. When murder or fraud covers a venal grab for profits, it's Johnny's job to jolt the facts from those involved. Detective work in all corners of the world is a specialty for yours truly, Johnny Dollar, one of your great Sunday listening treats on CBS Radio.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, airs at 10 p.m. Sunday night with an encore performance at 1 a.m.
Community Spotlight.
Haverhill residents are invited to attend a luncheon and wine tasting at Sorbino Vineyards in Sandown, New Hampshire on Wednesday, October 18th. Put together by the city's Council on Aging, the event will feature a tasting of 9 Sorbino wines, followed by a cooking demonstration by Chef Rob Ozunian, formerly of Joseph's Trattoria. During the demo, Ozunian will prepare 3 dishes to be served. Tickets for the luncheon are $65. Reservations are required by calling Kathy Bresnahan at 978-374-2390. Someone you know is on WHAV. To submit read your own nonprofit announcements, click on the Contact tab at whav.net or email news@whav.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Robin Fancher.
WHAV. Open.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Okay, we're down to the final minutes of the Open Mic Show. We have a caller still holding. Sorry for the long delay. You are on the Open Mic.
That's fine, Tim. This is Ken Quimby Jr. How are you?
All right, Kenny, how are you?
Good. Are you taking birthday wishes still? That's your
Yes,
reason why I'm calling.
absolutely. Taking your birthday wish.
Mr. Stanley Colton, November 17th. He'll be 80 years old.
Stan Colton, happy 80th birthday.
Yeah.
Stan Colton right over there at HC Media. Great.
And I was listening to the gentleman a few minutes ago. That corner up on Washington Street, I think West Lower, it's horrible. It's a bad setup. I don't know what they did. I went the wrong way the other day, and I said, almost got hit. the way it's figured. I think they need to fix that, but that's...
So
you know, I'm glad the
safety
gentleman-
officer Dave is on top of something here.
Well,
Good.
I'm glad for that situation. But, and I'm looking forward to whenever I'm supposed to come on your show.
Yeah, no, we got to squeeze a lot of people in a couple of weeks, don't we?
Because next week we do our debate after the League of Women Voters.
And then WHAV will be broadcasting that
Good.
debate live.
Okay, good. But that's all. I
Well,
know
thank
you
you.
only
So
got 2 minutes.
happy, Chris. Did you take that down?
If she needs it, I'll hold on.
Chris, did you take that down? Okay, put down Stan Colton and the birthday wish.
No,
All right, we can find Stan if he wins. So just put down
Okay.
Stan Colton and the
Yep.
birthday wish, and we'll thank Kenny. You're very thoughtful. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll see you, my friend. Take care.
Talk to you soon. Take care.
Yeah.
Ken Quimby, former Haverhill City Councilor, he's running for City Council again. Election Tuesday, November 7th. WHAV will broadcast, of course, that day live. He reminded me, though, League of Women Voters. You can hear all this on WHAV News tomorrow. League of Women having yet another candidates forum. I believe it takes place at Haverhill High School Library. We'll confirm that when the news comes out. I think we'll have it on 11 o'clock news tonight as well. And this, of course, we're down to those final stretch. It was quite an election. I don't think we've had a chance to the open mic show, but we had just before the holiday, we had candidates, the Democratic candidates for state representative, Paul Maglicetti, Andy Vargas, right here on the open mic show. That was the same night that Police Chief Alan DeNaro and Deputy Chief Anthony. And, of course, we know the outcome now. And now we have a final state representative election. It's going to be at the same day, but a different ballot, the same day, different ballot as the city's final election, Tuesday, November 7th. And, of course, now the race will be between Democrat Andy Vargas and Republican Sean Toohey. We've got to work these candidates in before Election Day. We need to work in the City Council, and we're going to try to work in the school committee, although WHAV, thanks to HC Media, was able to bring that live to you also last week. So certainly a lot happening. My guess, and I'm guessing these closing words for the open mic show, there is certainly a perception that there's more crime now. Now, the Mayor James Ferrantini, will take out statistics saying, look, these are the FBI numbers. The FBI says crime in Haverhill is down. Now, we had Police Chief Alan DeNaro on the program a few weeks ago, and he says, well, it depends how you measure that. You might have crime down in a category that brings the whole thing down, but maybe it's a different crime that is of concern. Now, I asked him, we had 3 murders. This is very unusual for the city of Haverhill, 3 murders in the last year. Well, that's like a 300% increase when you start from nothing. So I think there's a perception that could drive the local election, perception that crime is. So you have about 50-50 of half the city council saying, and they voted against the mayor's budget, half the city council saying, it doesn't matter what it costs, we need to hire more police officers. And you have the other half of the city council saying, hey, you can't have a cop everywhere all the time. It just, even if you had more, they may not be where some crime is going to happen, so why are we spending all this extra money? Haverhill isn't as affordable as it used to be and may not be. So I think really the election is going to come down to that debate. Should the city invest more in public safety and in education? I think education is a big item. We have the new Hunking School in Bradford. Now you have a first-class, first-rate school with the latest of everything, but only one set of students, 1,024 to be exact, get that school. Others still have to deal with the old schools like the John Greenleaf Whittier School on Concord or the Constantino School that opened in 1969. So we have this tale of two cities, and which way will it go? So the voters are going to be making some important decisions on November 7th, and it'll be our only clue, really, as to where voters want to go. If they want public safety and more education, or if they want to go to, let's hold the line here, it's already too expensive. I think everyone who's holding public office now, and I think everyone who's seeking public office, wants to know the answer to that question from the voters. But until then, next week we'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show. And next week, something Chris enjoyed last year, and I think a lot of you did too. Next week we have Rich Porcelli coming on the program. He's going to talk about the second annual Kiwanis Turkey Drop. WKRP style for us, but we'll talk more about that next week right here on the Open Mic.
Open Mic.
Join Tim Coco live on the Open Mic again next Monday night at 6:30. The opinions expressed on the Open Mic Show are not necessarily those of WHAV, its underwriters, or affiliated stations. The Open Mic Show came to you from the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom.
It's 8:30.
Broadcasting on the Armstrong FM system. This is 97.1 WHAV.
Catch the wave.
On air or online, 97.9 WHAV serves you. Twice an hour weekdays, keep up to date with exclusive local news. Find out about civic events on Community Spotlight every quarter hour. And better prepare with Wave every 30 minutes. For talk, there's Open Mic Show, Monday nights, in your hometown